Thank you so much for finding your seats. Thank you so much. We don't mean to rush you, but we don't want to keep you any longer than you have to be here. I know it's Friday night and you might have a party to go to. First of all, as you're finding your seat, I want to say, first of all, to giving thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who is the head of my life. My name is Minnie Pearson, and I'm the president of the Champaign County branch of the NAACP. Our theme tonight is, "We the People are the Voice of Change." The mission of the NAACP is to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights of all persons and to eliminate racist, hate, and racial discrimination. On behalf of the awesome, I mean awesome, Executive Committee of the NAACP, all of which are volunteers. Executive Committee, would you please stand? To welcome you all and thank you with deep appreciation for supporting our annual Freedom Fund Banquet 2018 this Friday night, party night. If you are a member of the NAACP, would you please stand? And I have a reason to ask you to do that. Would you please stand if you are a member? The reason I asked you to stand is to thank you in advance for your willingness to serve on one or more of the many NAACP committees that we have. Thank you. So you didn't know you were getting into that, did you? I also want to thank the Freedom Fund Banquet members to please stand. If you have put on this awesome event, please stand. Come on, you, don't be shy. One of the most important reasons we are here tonight is to acknowledge, congratulate, and thank all of the award winners for the public service work that they do in this community. It is freedom fighters like yourselves that helped blaze the pathway to make our community a better place to live, a safe environment to live. So thank you all. As stated by our national and state and local branches, it is members like the NAACP who led the fight against lynching, helping organize bus boycotts, stood up and marched for integration of public schools and universities, and helped to secure access to the ballot box in our community. And you all know, and we don't have to state this again, you all know how important it is to get out and vote. Yes. Yes, we should all know by now what you're up against this November 2018. Voter suppression, environmental injustice, fighting against biases in the criminal justice system, unequal economic opportunities, well as working to provide cost-sensible education for our students. And we need to demand and work hard to make sure that we end racial profiling. We also should make sure that we work to end stop and frisk. All lives matter and all votes matter. Our experiences show that one person acting from morality and love can neutralize bigotry. A group of people can create a moral barricade to hatred. But it takes somebody to take that stand. You should all be willing to do that. And as I look around this room and see the diverse crowd that we have here today, we have no excuses. The NAACP will always be on the front line of all of these encounters. And here in Champaign County, we hope that you will continue to step up and stand with us with this branch to make all voices heard. We will never tell you who to vote for, but we will strongly encourage you to get out and vote and get your relatives Get everybody that you can, because there is something on the ballot that would make your life better. And if you care about that, you will get out and vote. There are people who have died, and you know that, shed blood and did all kinds of things, so they will have a right to vote. So please get out and vote. Also, I want to lastly say, I know that we have had quite a few gun violence things in our community. And it saddens us all. But we should know the strength of a community is measured by the ability to prepare our youth for the future. When you know better, you do better, and we should not give up on our young people. Please, let's not give up on them. They are worth saving, so let's work toward that. Again, thank you for coming out tonight. We really appreciate each and every one of you. I know that you could be someplace else, but you chose to be here with us, and for that we are truly, truly grateful. And I see faces that I haven't seen in a while, but don't think that we've forgotten you. We're going to call you to work, so don't get too comfortable. Thank you again, and right now we will have Chandra Somerville, who has a wonderful voice, to come up and lead us in the national anthem. Then we'll go ahead.
Before that, we will invite Dr. Perico Robinson. This is his inaugural event as we welcome him to our community, and he is the pastor of St. Luke CME Church.
Amen. God bless you. Let us pray. Our Rock of Ages, we come to you at this moment with our hearts completely fixed on your mission. We come to you with the understanding that Christianity is social justice. So God, we pray for all of those tonight who have fallen victim to hatred and inhumanity. For those loved ones who are left behind to mourn. For the souls of those whose hearts are cold. Lord, hear our prayer. For the children who are being born into this world of conflict and violence, for women and mothers who suffer needlessly, Lord, hear our prayer. For all those who've been forced into unemployment, who long to return to work, for all those who struggle to support their families, Lord, hear our prayer. For the soldiers who are misguided in thinking that their bullets will bring about peace, for those who feel called to conscientiously object to military orders, Lord, hear our prayer. For the children who cry in their beds at night and wonder, what have I done? For the mothers and fathers who must try to explain the unexplainable, Lord, hear our prayer. For all the children who have died before their time, for the soldiers who allow their uniform to strip them of their humanity, for the healers who are denied the opportunity to use their gifts, Lord, hear our prayer. For the redemption of souls of both victim and perpetrator, for those who commit themselves to the forgiveness of sins, Lord, hear our prayer. God bless you on tonight.
I am not Prince Robinson, I am Chandra Somerville. And I'm going to ask if you would stand and join in with me as we sing the first stanza of Lift Every Voice and Sing. This will be congregational singing together as a group. It is on page 8 of your program if you need the words. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the heart. our past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Thank you very much. At this time, I have the pleasure of introducing to some and presenting to others Dr. Ebony Zamani Galler. She is a professor of higher education, community and college leadership, and the associate head of the Department of Education, Policy, Organization, and Leadership at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. She is also the Associate Dean of the Graduate College and the Director of the Office of the Community College Research and Leadership. She holds a PhD in Higher Education Administration with a specialization in Community College Leadership and Educational Evaluation from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Her teaching, research, and consulting activities largely include psychosocial adjustment and transition of marginalized collegians, transfer and access policies, student development, and services at community colleges. Dr. Zamani Galler is a recipient of the Council for the Study of Community Colleges Senior Award, is an ACPA Diamond Honoree, and the Association for the Study of Higher Ed Council on Ethic Participation Mildred B. Garcia Senior Exemplary Scholarship Awardee. Dr. Zamani Galler has served as the president of the Council for the Study of Community Colleges, an affiliate of the American Association of Community Colleges, and is currently director for research and scholarship for the American College Personnel Association. Dr. Ebony Zamani Galler's research has been published in various journals and scholarly texts, including Equity and Excellence in Education, Higher Education Policy and New Directions for Student Affairs. She has also authored and edited 7 books. Her most recent titles include Working with Students in Community Colleges, Contemporary Strategies for Bridging Theory, Research, and Practice. She is also a part of the ASHE Reader Series on Community College, and she also participated in publishing the fourth edition, and as well as the Obama administration and educational reform. I would like to introduce to some and present to others Dr. Ebony Zamani Galler. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. Can you all hear me? I don't know if this is on. I guess it's this loud enough? Okay. All right, well, it is a pleasure to be here tonight. I want to thank President Pearson as well as the Executive Committee for our Champaign chapter for allowing me to spend some time with you all this evening. And so I just want to bear greetings and tell you that, again, it is indeed a pleasure to be a part of tonight's Freedom Fund banquet. There is a quote that I'm quite fond of that I want to share. It's a brief one, but it goes like this. It says, "You praise the bridge that carried you over." I think I'm going to repeat it. you praise the bridge that carried you over. And I think for many of us in the room and beyond, this chapter in this room, there is a way in which NAACP has been that lifeline, where NAACP has been the bridger and has been the vehicle by which we can feel affirmed in the fullness of our whole selves, all right? And so I'm gonna keep with the topic, if you will, in terms of the theme for tonight's event, which is we, the people, are the voice of change. So let's talk about we, the people. The preamble of the U.S. Constitution states this: we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Right? So the preamble to the Constitution, we the people. Well, in recent years, namely the last two, we can't say that we are one republic or have really gotten there in terms of a perfect union. And in terms of justice, well, there's a lot of folks that are running above the law. And I don't know about you, but I haven't felt too tranquil and sleeping that great at night when I think about the state of some things. And as far as general welfare and blessings of liberty, let's just say we got work to do. The Declaration, we the people. Okay, this is a historical and present day kind of context that arguably we can reinterpret and is open to interpretation. It's open to interpretation in that it varies and that it just does not consider all of the people. It didn't consider all of the people then, it doesn't consider all of the people now. We have not been fully considered in this so-called covenant. The loose application of who is considered part of the we was reserved for dominant and is reserved for dominant culture of those that look nothing like me. The preamble is an antecedent, if you will, a precursor of who can confer rights, who has power, who has privilege, who has the complexion for protection, who sets the tone for interpretation, let alone the application of the Constitution in relationship to the who that is included in the we the people. James Madison, a chief architect of the Constitution, contended that the people are the only legitimate fountain of power, and that it is from that constitutional charter under which several branches of government hold their power. Right, so when we talk about antecedents and temporal order, the people hold the power by which then several branches of government then yield their power. So this is all twisted right about now, right? Every system is perfectly designed to get the results it gets. You all have heard that. So it's not surprising that the system that we currently live in still is very much reflective of systemic oppression, institutionalized racism, sexism, heterosexism, ableism, and a whole lot of other isms that are pervasive because in the minds of some, the assertions of, say for instance, let's take our country back. Y'all remember that 2012 election, right? And then, the remix of let's take our country back in 2016, which is make America great again, right? That these kind of adages equate to an equivalency of understanding that is not a shared one, particularly within communities of color, that the system was never broken the way it was built. Remember, every system is perfectly designed to get the results that it gets. Now, more plainly put, this system, the U.S., was built on the backs of marginalized and racially minoritized folk. 25 years ago, there was a book that came out by Andrew Hacker, and the author's text was titled, "Two Nations, Black and White, separate, hostile, and unequal. Okay, that was a quarter century ago. That title sounds like that just flew off the shelves at Barnes and Nobles today. Is that a new release? I don't know, right? But the author had argued that the deepest and the most enduring division in American society is race. Hacker felt that race not only defined America's past, but he projected that it would also be the defining issue of America's future. Why was he telepathic? And presently, there has been a return to past policies and behaviors that are deemed by some that certain segments of society are unworthy of equal treatment and justice. Now, we're at a time in our country where we have daily reminders, if not multiple times within the day. Can you say Twitter and get, dude off? We have these reminders that we are living in such a state where abuse of power and coercive authority is the norm. And this coercive authority is unjustly wielded against communities of color routinely. So it's very daunting to me to think that in 2018 that my children, our children, have to face the same aversive bigotry and racism as my parents and grandparents and during Jim Crow did and times before. So when it comes to race in America, the scar has yet to heal. We have a scar of race. And while we want to say it's a post-racial society, keep in mind that that scar, it has a scab. And we've been picking at it and picking at it. And you know what happens when you continually pick at a scar, right? At a scab. It could become infected. And so you spread infection with the wound ever deepening. The racial divide is nothing new in the United States. And being black in America, I know all too well the psychological, sociological, physiological, all of the different dilemmas of difference that are laced into race, because it's often the defining tool for perpetuating inequality and discrimination in America. This country has and again continues to face visceral hatred and festers cultural misinformation in many communities about folk of color, particularly cultural misinformation within white America about black bodies, black lives, black realities. And so some would say it's a reemergence, but I would say it never exited stage right of anti-black affect. And it's become so mundane in character that the normalization of racism manifests in the countless unarmed black men and women that die at the hands of police without law enforcement being held culpable. The reality of race in America is that it is often painted as a dichotomy in black and white, and consider, as a case in point, the militarization and the police state that is in a lot of black and brown communities. The militarization and the police state that are seen and witnessed and experienced at Black Lives Matter demonstrations, which can be peaceful in contrast to the handling of how law enforcement dealt with the Unite the Right rally protesters who did not seek peaceful demonstration with their helmets and shields and batons and visible handguns. The alt-right group behind the Unite the Right rally, largely white men that are embracing alternative facts, suggest a world where what is idealistic is racial justice, religious pluralism, same-sex love being non-existent. That these things are threatening to their very existence, and that this completely alternate universe and worldview is undergirded with a sense of entitlement whereby many white men feel that they are the victims of diversity, where progression in terms of social justice and equity are oppressive and found to be offensive. What is playing out post-Trump are emboldened folks freely engaging in hate acts, hate speech, discriminatory behavior that are unfettered rights in terms of their mindsets, and just reminiscent of the days of old. The former First Lady Michelle Obama at the 2012 Democratic Convention said, "The presidency does not change who you are. The presidency reveals who you are." One of Trump's first acts as commander-in-chief was to appoint Steve Bannon a former executive chair of the far-right Breitbart News that serves as the primary platform for the alt-right. Okay, so again, the presidency doesn't change who you are, it reveals who you are, and among his first acts was an early pick for Banquet to serve as his chief advisor. So why would it be surprising to any that Trump does not call out despicable acts of neo-Nazi, white supremacist, tiki torch, khaki pants wearing folks marching through UVA's campus or other racist rallies that he himself is at the podium for, when he actually first act was to put one in the White House to begin with? There's a saying that a fish rots from the head first. We know who's at the head of this country right now. A fish rots from the head first, and this expression contends that problems can be traced to the top. And in the case of our country's leadership, there is a decaying humanity and a deterioration that is occurring. As a presidential candidate, as well as these almost 2 years of his presidency, Trump has fanned the flames of racial hostility. He has peddled and profited from prejudice and has released what some say is new, but really is just old-fashioned racism from the shadows. No doubt that progress has been made, but progress prior to Trump and post-Trump has suffered stalemates and setbacks. But the progress that we want, when you really think about true progress, progress is never satisfied. Progress thirsts for more, especially when you see progress being siloed for the some and not the many.
At this time, I would like to ask and invite our president to come so that we can begin the presentation of our awardees. Mr. Tracy Dace, Youth Advancement Award. Originally from Mississippi and since residing in Champaign, Urbana, Mr. Dace has established this youth educational program in 2015 targeting young black boys to their teenage years between the ages of 5 to 18 years old. The focus of his youth program is to cultivate an early college pipeline process that promotes education, excellence, and positive citizenship, as opposed to the many stereotype images that plague many African American boys, teens, and young adults in our society today. Since the birth of this program, Mr. Dace has led by example staff that is comprised of educators, scholars, and have reached and taught and invested in over 125 boys. And in the enrollment is constantly growing significantly each year. He has started an after-school program at Booker T. Washington and a mentoring program at the University of Illinois during the school year. Mr. Dace also has a summer school component at Parkland College, Booker T. Washington, and Rantoul as well. Mr. Dace and his Dream House Academy program should be praised for their great accomplishment, because Mr. Dace is investing time with our beloved and inspiring black youth educationally within the community of Champaign, Urbana, and Rantoul. On behalf of the NAACP, on behalf of the NAACP Youth Advancement, Mr. Dace's Dream House Academy motto is driven to reach excellence and academic achievement for males. Prior to becoming the founder and chief visionary officer of Dream House, Mr. Dace was a tenure-track assistant professor of humanities at Parkland College and instructed courses in developmental reading and English. He is a social justice he is a social justice educator and builds bridges between community, systems, and educational institutions to achieve a deeper impact and systematic change. This evening, Mr. Donald Stewart will be receiving the award on behalf of Tracy Days, but I would like to congratulate and say well wishes, and we are thankful for Mr. Tracy Days. Let's give him another round of applause. The Hope Center Interfaith Community Award. The Hope Center Community Care is a faith-based community outreach program that encourages, inspires, and empowers people to love and to find their best lives. The Hope Center is in the business of taking care of those who are less fortunate while teaching them the skills to take care of themselves while pouring into others. The community care program offers practical opportunities to improve life situations and to help people navigate resources in a spirit of love, encouragement, and hope. At each community care session, members meet one-on-one with a trained life encourager to share current joys as well as address challenges. These monthly meetings focus on helping improve life situations and informing a member about available services and referrals to community agencies and organizations. The food pantry is available as well to meet basic needs of Champaign County residents. Individuals and families may visit the pantry once a month to receive groceries free of charge. No ID or pre-appointment is required. Fresh fruit, vegetables, dairy, meats, and bread are usually available in addition to the canned goods or box goods. Government commodities are available to all guests that do qualify. However, over 19,000 Champaign County residents receive food from the Hope Center pantry annually. The Hope Center is providing practical and spiritual resources to the community. Their motto is, be seen, be heard, be encouraged, grow in renewal and relationship, and inspire your dreams to actions. Tonight, receiving the award is Dina Schumacher, the Executive Director, and Ms. Moses. Interfaith Community Service Award presented to the Hope Center at Vineyard Church in recognition of your dedication and commitment to the spiritual, social, and emotional well-beings of individuals and families in Champaign County, presented in October 2018, Minnie Pearson, President. Mr. Sahil Contractor, Unity in the Community Award. Sahil has committed his life to helping others. He is very hardworking and is seen as an unselfish and has an unselfish spirit. He often thinks of his community and the ways that he can contribute to those that are less fortunate. A noble characteristic about Sahil is that he understands the law of giving and receiving is simply this: obey God's word and don't quit. Sahil was taught from a very early age of what a blessing it is to share with others and to give back to those in need without expectations of receiving something in return. Sahil believes that what you are doing today with your time and your resources will determine where you will be this next time, next year, and years to come. Sahil also knows that how you live will determine whether or not you will prosper with the abundance of life, family, finances, health, and community. Mr. Contractor has made many contributions to the Champaign-Urbana community along with Springfield as well. He does this by opening the doors of his business at the Wingstop and feeding the homeless, college students, and people who are experiencing hard times and cannot afford to get hot meals. One of Sahil's proudest moments and the contribution to this community was that he kindly calls it Wings Giving, where he serves food from the Wingstop to the community annually on Thanksgiving Day. Sahil is also extremely proud and acknowledges that he couldn't do this without the support and the commitment of his Wingstop team, who also shares in his visions for the communities they serve. I would like to introduce to some and present to others, Mr. Sahil Contractor. And the award reads, Unity in the Community Award presented to Sahil Contractor. In recognition of your outstanding dedication to human rights and your fight for social justice in Champaign County. Presented in October 2018, Minnie Pearson, President. Sims, Freedom Fighter Award. Karen Sims is a true example of a voice for social change and social justice. While she describes herself as helping individuals, organizations, and community groups reach their highest potentials, Karen is so much more. She is a licensed mental health therapist and a graduate from Christian Theological Seminary in Indianapolis, Indiana, who has been working in the human services field for most of her life. She is nationally recognized, highly sought after speaker, trainer, and presenter. In her life and in her work, her focus is on trauma-informed care, building resiliency, and addressing the root causes of community violence, positive youth justice, coalition building, and cultural and gender responsiveness practice. Karen has had and continues to have a profound impact on the communities of Champaign County. She is dedicated to transforming the lives of our community members individually and as a whole community into lives where everyone is recognized and valued for being themselves. Naturally, this brings her focus onto the people most vulnerable to harm in our society. People who are marginalized due to race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, ability, or traumatic experiences. As I like to put it, she wants to cure Champaign County of trauma, and that means everyone. Her vision of Champaign County is as a trauma-informed community where everyone understands how trauma affects themselves and others, and all of our services and systems must be based in cultural understanding, not knee-jerk punishment that ruins lives. She cannot change our community. She knows that all of us can. For Karen, this vision is not a hat that she picks up just to do her job, but it's passion for others' well-being that informs her entire life. I would like to present to others and introduce to some our Freedom Fighter Award winner, Ms. Karen Crawford Sims, in recognition of your outstanding dedication to human rights and your fight for social justice in Champaign County.
Did everybody get a picture?
I just wanted to let you know their bios are in the book. What I had presented to you all were from the actual nominators, from their words and the people who nominated them. We should be proud that we have people such as these individuals in our community that are actually changing the world. At this time, I am going to introduce our president, Ms. Minnie Pearson, and she will be presenting the President's Award.
It is such an honor to introduce this next person receiving the Presidential Award. She was just as proud of herself as I am. So I'm going to ask her ahead of time to just come and stand in her glory right here. Because she is Audrey Keaton Mock, was born December the 9th. She was born to the late Reverend and Mr. William Benjamin Keaton Sr. Originally from Chicago, Illinois, Audrey fondly remembers growing up as a preacher's kid and remembers it was not easy. It was not an easy task. Yet, through God's divine providence and an abundance of blessings, Ms. Mock says, to this day, to this very day, she could not thank her father enough, because what he taught her has stuck with her. Audrey Mock graduated from Illinois State University with a BS in home economics and a minor in early childhood education. She is also a devoted wife and mother to one of my favorite students. Married to William Mock Sr. for 34 years, together they are the proud parents of William Mock Jr. and Juanita, which is my student. And she was a very good student. And the difference was with Audrey and the teacher's relationship. We had a relationship. We had a partnership to make sure that this young lady did what she was supposed to do, when she was supposed to do it, and how we said she was supposed to do it. And she was there watching my back, and I had her back. It takes a village, and so we formed a partnership. Ms. Mock loved helping where there is a need and quotes her father as teaching her. Being a Christian is not something you talk about. It is action. It's an action word. Currently, Audrey is employed with the Champaign Unit 4 School District as the district's parent coordinator and has worked with the district for over 16 years. She has received numerous awards, for example, those who excel award in the community, volunteer awards, the Central Illinois Deaconess Fellowship Award, the Lone Star Lodge 18 Excellence in Education Award. In this position, Audrey is dedicated to serving students and families in need of additional support. As a child advocate, Audrey believes that all children can learn. All children are special and all children are individuals with a diverse set of needs. Audrey says, I believe in rewarding kids who do well in school. With those beliefs at heart, Audrey loves to organize trips, large trips. She takes a lot of children there when she goes. Large groups of children she took them to Memphis, to Atlanta, to Washington, D.C., and the Children's Museum in Indianapolis, and the University Soul City Circus Classic in Chicago. Singing and directing choir is God's gift to Miss Audrey, and she loves to share her talents with her church, and our minister is here, Reverend Pastor Shelby. Have to say that. Through the years, Ms. Mock has worked with singing legends such as Dr. Mattie Moss Clark, Twinkle Clark, Shirley Caesar, Albertina Walker, Mr. Clean Wright, Richard and Glory Wright, Vanessa Bell Armstrong, the late Reverend James Cleveland, Reverend Cleophas Robinson Jr., and Reverend Lamont Lennox, just to name a few. In her spare time, Audrey shares her musical gifts as the choir director at Salem Baptist Church, co-director of the Champaign-Urbana Dr. Martin Luther King Community Choir, facilitator of the University of Illinois Sacred Black Music Symposium, director of the Baptist General State Music Workshop Choir, music coordinator for the late night service, and director of the Baptist Youth Fellowship. So she is busy. Audrey firmly believes that when God tells you to go, you had better go. Her favorite saying is, only what you do for Christ will last. She believes when you give your best of your service and are obedient in telling the world that the Savior is come, be not dismayed when men won't believe you. He'll understand and say, well done. You ask me what I want the Lord to say, well done, thou good and faithful servant, and that's what she deserves. Special thanks to me, you don't have to, the NAACP for this award. When people do what they do for the community, they're volunteering. And when you volunteer your service, and you're not asking for anything in return other than to help people, you have got to admire people like that. And it's not easy. Now, she's good looking, but she's been around a little while. But she still keeps on giving. She keeps on giving. And when you ask her to do something, you may hear a grumble like, I don't know I'm going to do that. But she finds a way to do it, and I am so grateful to her. And I'm grateful to her family. They're sitting over there just beaming. And so, Audrey, President's Award presented to Audrey Keaton Mock for your commitment to equality and excellence in the education of individuals in Champaign County. October 20th, 18, Minnie Pearson, President. And she said, Minnie,
Can I say something?
1 minute. One minute.
I don't want
Yes.
all of my labor to be in vain. I don't want all of my labor to be in vain. For when I stand before the judgment God, I don't want to hear him say, from me depart. I don't want all of my labor to be in vain. And then I have to ask myself, is my living in vain? Is my living in vain? Is my praying in vain? Come on, man. Is my fasting in vain? Am I wasting my time? Can the clock be rewound? Have I let my light shine? Have I made 99? No! Of course not. No, no, no. Of course not. It's not all in vain. 'Cause up the road is eternal. Yeah.
Give her another hand. You can see where her passion is. You can see where her passion is. Again, I want to thank all of the honorees for your work that you do in the community. And I also want to say that there are people in this room right now that have not been recognized for all of the things that they do. And they are working out there every day, making a difference in this community. They're on the radio on Sunday mornings, early, they get down early. They are out there on each organization and in the community doing things, and you never get to hear what they are doing. But I want them to know that their work is not in vain either. And we have one of my students from way back, and he will tell you that he's had his challenges in school. He will tell you that he has been tested. He's grown up quite a bit, and I don't want to take up any time, but I just want to mention his name. He is also a freedom fighter in this community in his own way. Martell Miller, stand up.